Hello students, the purpose of this video is to go over the odds and probability practice. So odds and probability is something that is going to be heavily on your test for test 4. So I want to make sure that you're feeling really comfortable with it. And I'm going to give you some tips in this video that I really recommend you to do. I think it's going to make the process of finding odds versus probability a lot easier. It can get a little challenging sometimes trying to think about the difference when you're doing it all in your head, but sometimes just underlining or circling or writing things down will help you a lot. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Consider a spinner with the circle divided into thirds. Each third is represented by a different shape: a face, a star, or a banana. Suppose you spin the spinner once. What are the odds against landing on the happy face? So I'm going to begin underlining the word odds so that way in my mind I'm telling myself, okay, I'm looking at not probability, not how many of something out of a whole, but I'm looking at how many versus how many nots, right? But I'm also going to underline the word against because I want to find the odds against a landing on the happy face. So that means I want to write down first, what are the chances that I land on something that is not a happy face? Well, I could land on a star or banana, so that is 2. And odds, we learned that we write it as a ratio. And now I'm going to write the number of happy faces. And there is 1 happy face. And so that would be my final answer for odds. Whereas in the second problem, I am asking, what is the probability that you won't get the happy face? Well, to not get a happy face, there are 2 options, but probability looks out of the total, which are 3 items. On part C, I ask you to interpret the following. The odds for throwing a dart on the star are 1 to 2. So the odds for means that there is a chance that I will land on the star. So there is 1 chance that the dart will land on the star. There are 2 chances that the dart will land on something other than the star. So 1 represents star, 2 represents landing on something that is not a star. Now, when I ask about the probability that you will get a star, there is 1 star out of a total of 3 items. When I ask about the odds for getting the banana, there is 1 banana. There are 2 things that are not bananas. Number 2, suppose you toss 1 fair 6-sided die. I'm going to begin by writing the sample space, and this is a vocab word you want to make sure you recall for your test. And a sample space is all of the possible outcomes that you could get. And we talked about in one of our previous videos that anytime we write out the sample space, we include it in these little braces. I call them the curly Q brackets. So I list out with commas in between all of the possible options that I can get, and those are called together collectively my sample space. An individual number is called my sample point. So in letter A, I ask what are the odds for rolling a 6. So 6 is my sample point because it's an individual item within the sample space. Well, there's only 1 6, so I can get a 1 or 1 6, and there are 5 other numbers that are not 6s. What are the odds against rolling a 4? Well, there are 5 numbers that are not 4s, but there is only 1 4. What are the odds of rolling an even number? Well, 2, 4, 6 are even, so there are 3 even numbers and 3 not even. What are the odds against rolling a multiple of 3? Well, 3 and 6 are multiples of 3, so that means there are 4 numbers that are not multiples and 2 that are. The San Francisco Giants defeated the Texas Rangers in order to win the 2010 World Series. The odds against the Giants winning the 2011 World Series are 8 to 11. Now, I'm going to stop there for a second because this problem is really wordy. When I read the problem, like where it says in number 3, the San Francisco Giants defeated the Texas Rangers in order to win the World Series, that is completely irrelevant information. I'm literally going to scribble that out because it's just there to confuse me. I don't need to know that. Who cares? And when I read the odds against the Giants winning are 8-1, that lets me know that the 8 are the losses and the 1 is a win. What is the probability that the Giants won't win? Well, losses are 8, and I want to look at it out of a total number of games, and there's a total of 8 plus 1, which is 9. The odds against the Rangers winning are 10-1. So that means 10 is my losses and 1 is my win. What is the probability that the Rangers will win? Well, wins were 1 out of a total of 11 because 10 plus 1 is a total of 11 games. If the odds against the women's soccer team winning the World Cup are 7-5, so that means 7 losses, 5 wins. What is the probability that they will win the World Cup? Well, there are 5 wins out of a total of 7 plus 5 is 12. So again, it's a lot easier if you go and label your values rather than try to think about it in your head, because if you notice on several of these problems, I'm asking the opposite. I told you in number 4, the odds against, but I want you to write the probability for they will win, right? So kind of underlining that and drawing your attention to the words is really important. I always tell people, honestly, this stuff is more about reading comprehension than the actual math. So you want to be really careful, read slowly, underline, circle, whatever it is easiest for you to do to help yourself avoid some careless mistakes. Okay? I hope you found this video helpful. As always, if you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out.